they had become a very Humpty Dumpty team. And the first thing he did was win the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year. Now, when you're the Rookie of the Year, you got one hell of a career ahead of you, right? Wrong.
I went in and asked for a $500 raise and ended up in the minors. Not like now when they ask for a $5 million raise and get it.
You know, somebody once asked him, which team bothers you the most when he was with the Rangers? He says, the New York Rangers. You know, that of course is Gump. I mean, he always had a quick flip answer for you. And you know what? He was right.
Gump's coach in those days was Phil Watson, who was nuts. And the interplay between the two was almost like a comedy team, except that Gump didn't think it was funny and Watson didn't think it was funny.
He was the type of coach that when we won it was I, and when you lost was always me. He pointed at me or somebody else, but most of the time me. He called me a beer belly one day and I said, I don't drink beer, I drink VO. And I said, not only that, I was here when you came and I'll be here when you were gone. And the next week he was gone.
But it wouldn't be long before Gump himself would leave New York in a fortuitous trade to Montreal.
When he came to Montreal in the trade with the Rangers in the mid-'60s, his equipment arrived, and he likes to tell the story about how it was all laid out in front of him in the dressing room. And Toe Blake came by, the coach. And Blake said, when's the rest of your equipment get here? And Gump said, that's it. He said, Blake looked at me and said, you're crazy.
I wore shoulder pads all my career. The same shoulder pads from junior right through pro. They were about as thick as a quilt. But you're not supposed to get hit in the arms anyway, you're supposed to catch them. So that's what I kept telling myself.
In 1965, in his second season with Montreal, Gump was at the crease for the final do-or-die Stanley Cup game against Chicago. But getting the injured star goalie fit for this match had required drastic action.
I took a medicine that they had to get permission from Ottawa to give it to a human. It was only given to horses. And my breath was so bad that I was in 10 feet of someone. They say, what the heck is that smell?
But the potion had worked. Gump had shut out the opposition to win the first of his 4 Stanley Cups.
I don't know if there was a goaltender who's ever played who let it all hang out with his emotion facially when they would score against him. I remember he used to drop kick the puck into the crowd. If he got mad, he'd fish the puck out of the net. He could do it really good. They would go right up over the glass and into the crowd. That was him, and boy, that was the kind of closeness that fans were able to have with the players in those days.
On the ice, Gump was fearless, but his fear of flying made road trips with the team unbearable. So Sam Pollock, the general manager, sent him to the team psychiatrist.
I went to a shrink. The shrink told me, he says, the only one thing I can tell you, change occupations.